Well, some new things to tell you about Arcadia Lake up in the Edmond area. I'm joined by Kasey Evans. He's the board chairman of the Arcadia Lake Trail Coalition. Sir, thanks for stopping by the Oklahomans Video Studio.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Well, happy you're here and happy early holidays to you. First of all, let's back up and talk with you for just a second. You're involved with various cool things from the Comply 365 to the Arcadia Lake things here. You're from Salt Lake. What brought you here from Salt Lake?
So I was brought here for work, like many people in Edmond
Sure.
and Oklahoma metro area. I worked for an oil and gas company.
Like a lot of people here?
Like a lot of people here. Was thrilled, a little nervous to come here for the first time. I'm an avid cyclist. I love to mountain bike. I love the mountains, skiing. I love being in the outdoors. But as I moved here, I quickly grew that same love for the Oklahoma nature and what Oklahoma has to offer.
And I mentioned that, where are you from, just because what you see here now is perhaps a lack in that infrastructure of trails and things for people to be active, right?
Correct. The first thing I noticed is if I have to go biking where I live, which is in Edmond, I have to bike on the road with all the cars. There's no shoulder, there's no bike lane. There are some dedicated trails, they're sparse, not very long. So if I want to go out and ride 20 miles, I have to either drive 30 minutes downtown to get on the phenomenal river trail, or go on the Hefner Trail or Lake Ovalhoster. All great trails, but quite a distance to go for a run or to go for a bike ride from where I live in northeast Edmond. So what I sought out is, how can I contribute? How can I help improve the community that's around me in improving the amount of trails and trail length and accessibility to run, to cycle, to walk, and to be in the great outdoors.
Work is about to begin on 3.1 miles of a trail from Fox Lake Lane and west of I-35, the frontage road. We're talking about the Spring Creek Park at Arcadia Lake up in the Edmond area. The initial idea here is the city's approved $3.2 million, is that right, for 3.1 miles of trail that you're hoping to expand into a big loop around the lake. Is that correct? Is that close to being ballpark correct?
That is close to ballpark correct.
Okay.
So no, you're great there. In fact, we have commitments from the city of Edmond for even more than that, which is terrific. But this is the first phase. This is the first step. Let's show. And this is what I love about the city of Edmond, is they're saying, not only do we support you in this effort, we're going to put in the first dollar. The Arcadia Lake Trail Coalition is a little unique. Instead of, it was kind of formed by three individuals, Jim Tapp, Caleb McCaleb, and David Tu. I came in later in the game. Those three individuals had a vision to build a trail around Arcadia Lake. It's a beautiful lake, a lot of scenic views, but misses that trail that goes entirely around it. You have to ride on the road if you want to go around it without those same views. So what they envisioned is, how can we build a trail around this? We can ask the city and push the city and demand the city, right? A lot of times we as community members expect the city to make those trails for us. Well, what I love about what they did is they said, I'm not going to ask the city to do it. I'm going to ask them to do it with us. We're going to come out as private community, the private sector, and raise funds and ask the city to participate in that fundraising.
And you have a goal for these funds too, right?
We have a big goal, and it is going to be it's an attainable goal, but it is a large goal at that, which is $32 to $34 million.
How is that attainable, and what's your timeline?
So we'd like to have that done. We'd love to have the donations within the next 12 to 16 months.
Is that feasible in this economic climate? Is there enough interest? How do you go about approaching somebody? Hey, we've got a goal here, and it's some substantial cash.
Yeah, it is. It is, and in the oil market being down right where it is, it's a challenging time to ask Oklahoma metro area, right? The Oklahoma City metro area for those kind of funds when we're heavily tied to that industry. We realize it is a stretch. We are going to strive for it. We believe there are still funds out there. There are companies that still have philanthropic efforts. There's individuals that still have the financial capability to donate and participate. We understand that there's the economic downturn. However, community improvements have to continue on. We have to improve the community around us to help draw those jobs when it's time, to help it make the community more attractive when the market is going to turn. And what we're hoping is we initiate those conversations, we initiate those donations, and have them pay over time. Don't pay this year. We understand it's a challenging time. Commit to us for year 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4, and 5. We see this project taking up to 5 years, and we'd love to have those donations match that.
We see some shovels in the ground of the groundbreaking. Diana Baldwin reported Sunday, November 1st about that. What's the timeline for the 3.1 stretch there? What's the immediate look like?
So that's going to get started right away. We anticipate, or the city of Edmond anticipates, that portion to be done in spring, summer of next year. So what that does is that gives me a deadline to raise additional funds so that the trail construction may continue. I don't want to see it stop. We've now initiated, we've broke ground, they're beginning the work. How do we ensure that that work continues all the way around the trail? So I've got to raise funds so we can continue mile by mile. And it's about $1 million per mile with additional funds required for the iconic bridge or some of these other bridges.
Yeah, tell me more about the bridges. Before we started here, you mentioned there were some iconic bridges, even repurposing a bridge, bringing it in from a different part of the state.
Yeah, so it's this is going to be a very visual aspect of the trail. So going up I-35, heading north, when you're coming into Edmond from Oklahoma City, there will be 2 large bridges that go adjacent to the freeway, kind of along the frontage road on both sides. And those bridges will be very similar to what you see here at the Sky Bridge downtown.
Skydance Bridge, right.
Very beautiful in nature, modern, color. There's a lot of color in the evening. You'll see that same, or not same, but similar type of structure.
Similar concept.
Yep, similar concept on both sides of the freeway, which that's going to be very, what you hope is a big wow factor, right? Breathtaking as you come in here and go, wow, welcome to Edmond. What a beautiful place to come into. They must really support health. They must really support being active. And I would love to live in an area that invests in their community. So we feel like coming together to build these bridges is a statement, not only from exiting and entering Edmond, but it goes this vice versa, right? That's right on the border of Edmond and Oklahoma City. So if you're heading into Oklahoma City, I guess you can take it that way.
Sure.
As welcome to Oklahoma City.
Welcome to Oklahoma City. Welcome. We really care about our health.
Exactly. But it's going to be, it's exciting. It's going to be pretty breathtaking, I think, as people drive through that. And then we have a repurposed bridge, which this is not a small feat, but we feel that this is a great way to recycle a bridge that's here in Oklahoma.
Now, where did you find this bridge?
So it's in southeast
I can't
Oklahoma.
imagine this is something that's just on Craigslist or eBay.
No, we tried. Yeah. But it's in southeast Oklahoma. We found this bridge through the efforts from the city of Oklahoma City and municipalities kind of putting their minds together when looking for this structure, looking for this distance, caught wind of this bridge that was being removed, and it was going to go just to be recycled, right, for what it is. And we felt if we can move that and repurpose it, repaint it, what a perfect story that is. That this trail doesn't only stand for health and fitness, but it stands for, the environment, and how can we recycle those things that we have in our own state.
One last question for you. We're talking with Kasey Evans. He's the board chairman, Arcadia Lake Trail Coalition. What's been the community response up there? You mentioned you are a cyclist. Cyclists are certainly looking to avoid the hills and the cars and perhaps have their own dedicated area, but there's a lot of equestrian and horse riders in that area as well. Overall, any people say, hey, what about us? Or is it mostly, yeah, this is an improvement to our area? What's the feedback you're hearing?
We're trying to address all those needs. So there is going to be an equestrian trail. There's going to be improved mountain bike trails. I'm a big mountain biker as well. There's going to be the bike trail, but we're also going to separate the bike trail. And probably half of the trail is going to be a split. So that 18 feet is going to be 10 and 8.
18 feet wide.
18 feet wide.
Okay.
10 feet will be for biking, 8 feet will be for running. Keep those separate, so that way you don't get those collisions and accidents and incidents. Yet they're side by side, so you still can see each other and support each other and cheer each other on, right? And we're going to have parts of it combined, where it comes together in more of the remote areas, and those are going to be 14 feet wide. So those are going to be in kind of further away from the trail entrances and exits, on more of the, the southeast corner, and on the south end, a lot of that's going to be 14 feet.
All right, very good. Kasey, thanks for stopping by today. Again, Kasey Evans, Board Chairman, Arcadia Lake Trail Coalition. This is a story that we'll continue to follow in the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. Be sure to follow Diana Baldwin's coverage of this. Kasey, happy holidays.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.